Hey guys, Barry here, back for another episode of the Comeback Game podcast. Today I've got Chef Cynthia Louise, a whole food vegetarian and dairy-free chef that creates delicious meals that serve your organs and your taste buds. Chef Cynthia, how are you doing today?
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I'm here in Indonesia in my studio kitchen, as you can see. Have a look, have a look, have a look.
Fantastic.
How epic is that? I know, right? It's pretty amazing.
Gorgeous.
Having a fabulous morning. Yeah, it's morning here for us. Oh no, it's just gone 12. So I'm not sure what time it is for you.
Just gone 12, yeah. How long have you been in Indonesia for?
7 years. I grew up in actually Papua New Guinea for 21 years of my life, and I gravitated over here because I've been working with Tyler Tolman since 2009.
Yeah.
And both our brands kind of partnered up, and we do stuff together as well as separately. So, yeah, came over here to do one of his events. I can't remember when that was, but it's been 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and he tells me your food tastes absolutely amazing.
Yes, it does. Correct.
Correct.
It does.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, it's all about energy, right?
Yeah, that's right. So look, I'd love to find out, like when did this all start for you? When did the business start for you?
Well, I recreated myself. Actually, it's such a great story, and we all have a great story,
Let's do
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I grew up in Papua New Guinea, adopted, never went to school kind of thing, was a bit of a, whatever, school schmool, whatever, got other things to do. And basically grew up in a very natural environment, gravitating to whole food naturally. So whole food in Papua New Guinea is like climbing a coconut tree, cracking the coconut, making coconut milk, whatever. It's just very normal. It's not shopping centers and aisles of things, nor did I have the injection of dietary requirements of food fats, and the game that we play in the wellness industry of, oh, this is great and you should eat this and drink this green smoothie, and if you do this, you'll lose weight. Don't have the protein, don't have the carb, don't have the fat, but have the protein, have the carb, the flow of
follow the
happens.
food pyramid.
Yeah, I know, right? So whatever. Anyway, so then gravitated to Australia and did lots of things in my kind of 20s when I came to Australia. And I was always known as the person that cooked great food. So if we were mates, you would be like, I'm going to Cynthia's tonight. We're having a dinner party. Can't wait. She's an amazing cook. Always had that energy happening. And basically, push come to shove when I was 35. I'm 48 now. When I was 35, I was in a position where my whole life had completely transformed, and my businesses that I had, I didn't have anymore for reasons being. And I'm just going to close this app. Sorry. And what I found myself doing at 35 was recreating myself, and I created myself in a way that I decided to get an apprenticeship at the age of 35. Wow. And that's humiliating, really. I'm going to speak honestly. It's fucking humiliating because I never really went to school. I couldn't really spell and write properly, and I couldn't articulate as well as most people could that have an education behind them that have lifted them up throughout the years. So I recreated myself and got myself into a health retreat, and not knowing what a health retreat was, but they had real food that I only knew. So as I was looking for an apprenticeship, I was looking at these restaurants and 5 stars and pubs and clubs and restaurants in all different forms. And when I walked in, I never saw this. Okay. This to me is food in containers from its whole form that I will create with my interference. Do you know what I mean? So I just gravitated to this place, one of Australia's leading health retreats, and did my apprenticeship at age 35. And like I said, it was humiliating, but I knew I had something, and I didn't just had something, I knew I really had something. And that was to be able to see food as a connection to wealth and health, and to see food as a connection to, that's how we survive, really, our organs, really, that's how we are managing to live in this world. So, fast tracked that, became pretty much second in charge of the kitchen pretty early on in my apprenticeship, and started teaching and started to go to all the lectures in the health retreat. Biochemists, doctors, nutritionists, naturopaths, you name them, they were there. And I'd be sitting there every week listening, like, what? Like, oh my gosh, here am I playing with beetroot willingly and happily and creating stuff with beetroot. And they're going, oh, this is what beetroot's great for. And I'll be like, oh my God, oh my gosh, like, oh, wow. I gravitate to that naturally, and it's apparently good for you. So fast track that, ended up working really closely with a biochemist called Dr. Livy Weaver. If you haven't heard of her, Google her, she's amazing. We wrote 3 best-selling cookbooks together, and the journey continued on from there. And then I found myself somehow Tyler told me, oh no, I was teaching. That's right. I was lecturing in a gym about how to feed yourself, teaching PT trainers how to eat. So then they could tell their clients how to feed themselves. And Tyler came to one of my lectures, and then he was doing a lecture, and we were both speakers in this particular lecture that we were that I was going to next. And I kind of watched him. I thought, you know, Americans kind of thing. But he had something quite profound, and he saw me going, oh my God, Australians, whatever, but oh my God, she has something. So we partnered up, and I've been working alongside of him ever since in our brands together, but we also do our own thing as well. And I found myself coming to Indonesia and setting up actually consulting to restaurants and showing chefs how to use ingredients without using dairy. And then I found myself in a position where I wanted to be filmed. I wanted my own TV show. And you think I could get a TV show? No, I just couldn't. It just didn't happen. So I said, fuck yous all, I'll create my own. So I built this studio where I am now. And what I do is I create content and put it in my website. And they're called online cooking classes, where you can take me home any time of the day, any time zone, anywhere in the world, 24/7. And you can have Chef Cynthia in your living room, and we can go through the process of making like spaghetti not meatballs, or not sausage rolls, or butter not chicken, and things like that are plant-based. And what that did, it would kind of created a ripple effect. And stations were starting to see who I was. And FMT were the first ones that saw, pretty much emailed me in 2012 going, hey, we're watching you. We're not ready yet, but we're creating this TV station. We'd love to talk to you when we're ready. And I'm like, yep, ready. And so that came about, and I've got a beautiful contract with them as to date today. And we're going through another process of filming with them. And I'm looking at Food Network as well, because, you know, why not, right? As I continue to stay here in this gloriousness and do this. So Indonesia is where I'm based, and it's where this is. And I train chefs as well, how to, you know, fall in love with themselves first, and then fall in love with food, and then look at the business side of things and how they can evolve. And I also work in other people's retreats, and I'm a public speaker for inspirational speaking with the wealth and the health, and really getting that as a connection, and not just separately. I'm going to make all this money and then I'm going to look after my health, or I'm going to look after my health and then I'll make some money. It's like a direct connection. And I build cafes globally, and I'm partnered up with another brand. I have several partners, which is really smart business, actually. It took me a long time to say that, because I couldn't work out why I do that. I could do it on my own. Well, no, I don't want to do it on my own. I just thought that was the only way. And I partnered up with a genius brand called Entrepreneurs Institute, which has a brand called Genius U, and I'm building 50 cafes globally, and we've done 3 so far. So that's another partnership. And then I build other people's cafes and build my own and talk to people like you. That's
fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the connection between health and wealth. It's interesting that you've shared that, because I know myself, I've noticed for a long time, there's this drive that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners have, that it's like, I'll be happy when, or when I make it, then I'll do this. It's like, oh, you know, once I've made my money, then I'll put time back into my family, then I'll put time back into my health. Yet I've met a lot of entrepreneurs as well that have had significant health scares very early on, that are now super successful, because at that point in time, they realize that without their health, they ain't got nothing else. You know, like it's very easy to go and look after our clients, or look after our staff and people like that. But ultimately, if you're not fueling yourself, how do you plan on growing a business? Like, you know, growing a business consumes energy. It costs energy. So let's talk a little bit about from your perspective. Like, I'd love to hear your thoughts around that, and how you see the interplay between health, wealth, and nutrition.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm a public speaker, and I talk at the Entrepreneurs Resorts and Institute, where people come out and fly all around the world to be in an accelerated program. And I'm one of the speakers there. And what I noticed over time, and it was kind of my experiment too, it's a small stage. Sometimes there's 7 people, 15 people, sometimes 20 people. It's not a huge stage. I'm used to speaking on huge stages, but this was an opportunity for me to really get in touch with my speaking skills, and to really stay in the passion and get that flow going. But it became more than that. So what I noticed with these entrepreneurs that were building multi-million-dollar companies, and some were startups, and some were already on their way, getting some more acceleration, being in this retreat, and some were, you know, in the red zone, where they're just surviving, just making the money to survive, and they're trying to get some more thing. And what I noticed with them is they're so committed into making money. Like, I cannot tell you how incredibly committed they are at that. And what I noticed that their internal dialogue around that were two things. It was a momentarism, where momentaris, they were creating just kind of drudging on the moment of how to make money, and they were momentaris on their figure, their body, their actual body, their feeling, their internal dialogue. So they had two kind of really interesting terrorist attacks they had on themselves around maybe if I did the business this way, or if I put this system in, I'd make more money, and then I could multi-level that, or if I created that system. And then they had the, oh my God, I'm overweight, I'm unhealthy, or I'm underweight and I'm unhealthy, or oh my God, I just don't have any energy. So they had this, and then they had this vibe, but there was one vibe in particular was, I want to make money. And so when I kind of figured that vibe out, I was like, right, okay, let's bring it in. So what is the one thing that you guys want to do? Oh, I want to make this money, and I have this residual income, and I can be a freedom entrepreneur, and I can travel the world on my laptop, and I can create this system and buy this new thing. And I'm like, okay, and what else? And then I'll have the yacht, and then I'll have this, and then I'll be able to go on this holiday, and I've never flown business class before. And it was fucking on. And I was like, okay, so let's talk about your health. Oh yeah, I'm healthy. That's the first thing everyone said to me, is I'm healthy. Yep, I'm great. I'm really healthy. I'm like, well, tell me what that means. Are you pooing every time you eat? No. Is your piss clean and clear and doesn't smell? No. Do you drink coffee every morning? Yes. Are you willing to sit in this talk that I'm giving you 3 hours of my time and not going to fall asleep? You know, it's kind of like, it was a very imbalance. And once I fell in love with these people and decided to really tap into their genius, which was really equally parts of health and wealth together. Something expanded and exploded in them. And so what I did was I connected them to their organs. There's 76 or 78 organs in your body, and they all play a role. And you certainly wouldn't dump some coca-cola, I'm going to pick on that because we know the brand, and some rubbish food-like substances in there. And they're like, well, kind of I do, but no, I don't want to. And I said, okay, great. So how's that going for you? Sometimes I diet and it doesn't work. Okay, so let's look at the system in your business. Would you put a really shitty system in your business and create the back end that's so shit and rubbish and shocking that would create the front end to create this, which you're not going to get the layers of I want the yacht, I want the freedom entrepreneur lifestyle, da 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 da. And they're like, oh my God, no, I wouldn't. I said, so let's look at them as the same. And once they kind of, and I still do this today, once the people look at them as the same, they're not separate, something emerges from them. Their soul's evolution starts to take place. They start to look at dieting is not the answer. Being in a food fad is not the answer. What the answer is, what does nature require from me as a soul level and as a physical level? And what does that mean to do that? And once we established that, oh my God, every time I speak, they cry. This is what I've got so far from the Institute. You're the only one that makes them cry. And I think what's happening to them is they're starting to fall in love with the idea of them and their organs. And that is a really delicious, yummy space to be in moving forward, without that shocking of you should have the goji berry or have the thing and do the thing. Do you know what I mean?
How does that work though? Because, typically, we're conditioned from a very young age. We're conditioned by our parents. We're conditioned by our peers. We're conditioned by the environments around us. So how does that work when you've got somebody who's got 20 or 30 years of conditioning around their stable diet, whatever that is, Coca-Cola, pizza, McDonald's, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
How does someone who's so conditioned make the change, not just make the change, but sustain the change? Because it's like anything, right? Is if somebody's been used to eating that for a long period of time, how often you said, oh yeah, I'm going to go on a health kick. They go and hire a PT, they go and buy a shopping cart full of tofu and fresh veggies, and 2 weeks later, they're back to the same shit they were before. Like, how does someone create sustainable change?
Yeah. Well, the question is, are you worth taking care of? That's it. Are you worth it? Really? Ask me the question.
Are you worth taking care of?
Absolutely. My God, absolutely. How do I do that now? And the why is gone. Why am I worth taking care of? I'm absolutely worth taking care of. I'm so worth taking care of that I'm so excited to continue growing in this way. And forget the word healthy and clean eating. Let's just put that over there for a minute. I am worth taking care of. And how can I possibly do that in a way that's sustainable without following some new chef?
Yeah.
Some
how
new
do they do that?
chef. How do you do that? You start very simply and you look at all the amazing foods that you love to eat. So my husband's a great example. Meat eater, coffee drinker, booze drinker, loves fried food. So what I did was, with the food aspect of it, I took all the food that he loves, and because I'm a chef, he's very lucky that he has that. And this is why I created the online course.
He's very lucky, isn't he?
He's very lucky. So creating burgers that are high plant-based, that have that same sensation, you've got to be able to satiate with food. Once you dribble and satiate, boom, your fight's over. There is no more food fight. You have this intensity about you and this sensation that happens. And if you can just stay there and continue on step by step, you will find that you start doing stuff like this. The shit goes out the door and the wholesomeness comes in, and you start to create a value system because you've fallen in love with yourself, and you start to activate that value system. And so when you're reaching for something in the supermarket, you're automatically reaching it because you know it and you've bought it for your whole life, and it's what you buy. And all of a sudden you're reading it. And you're reading it, you're going, tomato sauce, for example. Tomatoes, great, whole food, tick. This 61424, and then you're going, oh, that's not food. What am I going to do? And that's when the ball starts rolling. And that's when people start to really invest like they do in their business within where they've put their money. And like I said, the classes online, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like, we don't have time to make the tomato sauce. So what's the best possible? What's the best possible angle? Well, let's look at how much of the tomato sauce you have. And most of the time we're addicted to shitty salt, shitty sugar, and shitty fat. And when we understand that, and we understand the palate and the palate changes, we just don't gravitate to it anymore. We start to gravitate to another type of tomato sauce in its whole form. You okay?
Yeah.
So,
I suppose
does that
that's
make sense?
Yeah, for the people that aren't lucky enough to have you in their house, and I get that they can watch your videos online and they can watch that and cook, but the people out there that are like, oh, this is all well and good, Chef Cynthia, but you don't understand. Like, I work 80 hours a week, I work 90 hours a week, and there's some days I don't even eat. When I do it, I just go down to the local takeaway shop, and let's be honest, a lot of the takeaway in Australia and America is shit, right? It's not whole food, not plant-based food. Like, how does someone overcome that? Like, I want to overcome the objections of people out there that are watching or listening to this today. They're like, you know what? I know I need to take care of my health, but. Like, let's just clear the objections out.
Well, let's forget the word health. Let's just throw that away for a minute. And look, it normally happens in two ways. A crisis, you're going to get sick. That's the fact. That's what happens. Our bodies can't sustain eating science. We just can't. Our bodies aren't designed to continue eating processed type ingredients. We're just not designed that way. And then along comes a sickness, a leaky gut syndrome, autoimmune deficiency, and it starts to escalate. And then they start to create the value system of, oh, I need to do that. But they still haven't fallen in love with themselves. They still haven't touched in on the internal and the soul's evolution. So it's just stay there, just fall in love with yourself first. And am I worth really taking care of? And also the other flip side is a family has a crisis. So there's two things of what make people shift. You get sick and then you look for the answer. Well, you don't do that to your business. So if you can just put it into the same cup, business and your internal organs, and something will emerge from you. You will start to actually think about it. And it will take, trust me, it'll take one thing at a time. It'll take the tomato sauce to be changed. Just one thing, not the whole kitchen. Fuck that. That's stressful. That's divorce material. Going home and going, Cynthia Louise, oh my God, I'm going to be a vegetarian. And the husband goes, no. No.
I absolutely, I love that we've gotten here. Because what I say is that people never have business problems. We never, ever, ever have business problems. We have personal problems that are expressed through our business.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
And so everybody's unresolved shit with their parents, with their siblings, with their child bully growing up is going to be expressed in some way through your business. Whether it's a cranky client that turns up, whether it's a problematic staff member, whether it's the bank shutting you down, whatever it is,
or the system that you bought that didn't work in the back end.
Yeah, the web developer that you hired promised you the world and delivered you the bloody atlas. Like, I love that. So what I'm hearing you say...
Wait, let me interrupt you. Guess what? The conditions will never be right. You've got to become the condition. One more time. The conditions will never be right. You must become the right condition. Because if you don't tap into that and allow your soul to emerge, start looping the same shit, you know, like, come on, like.
Become the vessel that can handle any storm. And so what I'm hearing you say is that it actually all starts with loving yourself, like loving yourself enough that you realize you're actually worth living in optimal vitality.
Totally. And loving your organs. We're talking organs here, not Cynthia, oh, you know, like, you know, the ears, nose, the boobs, I'm not talking about the apps, certainly. Us women are classic. We stand in front of the mirror and we fucking pick. We pick on all the things. We never acknowledge the things that are working. Look at my mouth. It's just working. It's just talking. It's working. My hair just grows. Things just happen. I just made a cup of tea. Like, there's so many things that are working, but we are indoctrinated into standing there and looking at this body, this orchestration of intelligence that is just so amazing. And we never look in, ever. Very rarely, 0.1% of society will look internally and go, the liver's there under the right rib, the gallbladder's just here, the pancreas is here. What does that mean with the pancreas and the kidneys, and what do the kidneys do? And do I need to study that? No, you don't. You just need to fuel it with what nature requires from you, because God created food, if you believe in that, and man created science. And science is a fucking miracle, and it's killing us, because food-like substances do not belong in the human body. Fact. It's just a fact. It's not a diet or a trend or Chef Cynthia Louise having a big, you know, oh my God, she's amazing, she knew this. It's just a fucking fact. So when we tap into the conditions, you know, internally, something emerges from us. And it's absolutely outstanding to watch a fellow human being go through the process. And it's one thing at a time. It might be just the tomato sauce, mate. You know, it's one thing. Let's not shock anyone out there. And it's slowly. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have this value system. And it's incredible. And all of a sudden, your organs are on path, and your wealth and your health are just the same.
But that's no different than business, right? Like, anyone that goes to business trying to change 50 things at once is due for massive disaster.
Totally.
You know, like, adopt the principles of constant, never-ending improvement. Can I? You know, first things first, second things second, third things first. And as you said, you know, you look back 60 days, 90 days, you know, a year from now, and you're in a significantly different place than you ever thought imaginable.
Totally. Absolutely. Like, we don't jump in there and change. You're not going to get off this call and go, I'm going to change my business to be like hers. Look at her back. We can pretend it's a business. Like, we're going to pretend this. Right? I'm going to put all like, you're just not going to do that. No one's going to do that. The human race is extraordinary. It's a magical time to be on the planet. Human beings are fucking incredible. We have just forgotten. That's all. We have just forgotten, just a little bit. And I'm here to remind you that your organs play an essential, if not critical, part of your optimal wealth. You know, it is true.
Well, the reality is that, you know, the more energy we have, the higher our capacity, ability to make decisions, to implement change within business, to be able to even work longer hours. And without our health, we really haven't got anything.
Yeah, imagine getting out of bed in the morning, dragging your ass to the toilet, doing a wee. Oh, I feel like a coffee.
10 coffees.
God, for the coffee. Like that is normal. I am not normal, by the way. But what I'm saying is that people have just forgotten this way of feeling, because they felt like this when they were a child. I'm 48 years old, and I swear to God, I wonder sometimes, am I really that age? And what does that mean to be that age? And then I see some people with some acquaintances that I've met, and I'm like, they're 48 too. It's not about their body or their physical appearance. It's more their energy. I'm like, wow, okay, where are they at? Right, okay, they're screaming internally about their wealth and how they can't seem to jump that barrier. And they're screaming internally about their outer looks. And I'm like, okay, wow, right, let's help them now continue to evolve into something that they're supposed to be, you know, which is nature, really, at the end of the day. It's fascinating stuff. I actually am really fascinated by it. I really am. It's so fascinating to be around, and I love it. I love it when somebody severely intoxicated with substance-like ingredients that they're eating decide to actually be educated and listen and absorb. And I watch them, and it's amazing. It starts with one thing, and it just ricochets because they fall in love with their organs. And they suddenly go, oh my God, there's 78 of them. I never knew that. I thought the heart, the liver, and the lungs were it. and the skin.
Something that fascinates me, and I'm also really curious to get your opinion on, is vegan meats, right?
I hate it.
No chicken, tastes like chicken, not chicken. What is it? Like, are
It's
they
called
good?
MSG. It's human genius, actually. It's an industry that I've never played a part of. I've never cooked with it. I want to, because I want to try what it's like. I've eaten it in shops. It's just textured protein. So it's like making bread with flour and water, but you're kneading the bread in the water, and it creates this bubbling, and it creates just this glutinous stuff. And then they dump a whole lot of flavor in there of all types and manner of things. And it's just, look, you know, I don't have a food fight, really. I really don't. I really believe that if someone wants to start with the vegan sausage, start with the vegan sausage. I mean, and then have a look at the package of the vegan sausage, and then buy another vegan sausage and it's kind of in its whole form, like carrots and things, and then have a look at another one, and then they continue on. But they've got to start somewhere, and some people start there, and yeah, it's just gross, really.
Yeah, it's something that's always fascinated me. So tell me then, like, what sort of rituals do you have? What are your daily rituals that put you into a peak state?
My spiritual goal and my daily rituals are the same. It's to be present. That's it. I don't have any. I've tried, mate. I've been to the guru. I've tried to be a guru myself, really. I've done it all. You fucking name it. I'm 48. Like, it's on, and I'm just not interested. What I'm interested in is, Cynthia, you must be present right now in this conversation here right now. And when I finish this, I must continue to be present in the next thing, and the next thing when I'm walking up the stairs or whatever it might be. It's just my ritual. It has to be that way. There's no shake and bake or drink the apple cider vinegar and try and be alkaline. And that was the old days. I've done all of it. And what I've come to understand is where my thoughts go, energy flows to my organs, and I must be present. I must be present. It's so important.
Yeah. What's the best? I absolutely love that too. You know, our results show wherever energy flows.
Really?
What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
The best bit of to listen.
Advice.
Listen. Shut up and listen. Because I didn't go to school, right? So I'm this wild fucking crazy horse that just do boom, 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 you know? It's like, listen. That's presence. Yeah. And that's my biggest download that I ever had in my life. Because if you would have told me to listen 10 years ago, I would have told you to fuck off. Because my ego was so amazing and so fabulous. And now it's like, now I understand. Listening doesn't mean I'm wrong. Listening doesn't mean that I'm whatever. Listening means remaining very present in this conversation. And that's my goal. It's my spiritual goal and my practice every minute of the fucking day. And it's hard being me. Trust me, dude, it's hard. Like, I'm full on. I'm enough. Like, I'm going to leave you in a minute and go to the cafe that I built, and it's just going to be, and everyone's just going to be like, and I'm just going to bring it in, and it's just full on. I've really got to control. Yeah, I've really got to learn. Yeah, like, because I love making money. I freaking love it. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Like, what I do is, like, I make money from what I do, and I love it. It's amazing. And I could never say that 10 years ago, ever. It'd be like, oh, I love serving the people and I believe in this. It's like, no. What I do naturally is normal to me. It's my value system, and I love making money out of it. It's so cool. Yeah. That's a great start for somebody in a startup, actually, is to really acknowledge that money is amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. And so for all the people watching this or listening to this, wherever they might be today, what do you want to leave them with? What's the bit of advice you'd like to leave them with?
You know, the conditions, like I said, will never be right. You've got to become the right condition. You must actually become the right condition for your soul to evolve. And falling in love with those organs is a really delicious way to start. And identifying what goes in the body. Like, people don't understand. Digestion starts in the mouth. It doesn't start down there. It's right here. And it's just these little secrets and these little tips of becoming that right condition. And slowly. No dieting here. No food fads. No vegan meat.
No vegan meat. No chicken.
No chicken. No, they call it trickin'.
Trickin'.
Oh God, welcome to.
So look, the guys can obviously find you www.chefcynthialouise.com, on Facebook under Chef Cynthia Louise. Any other handles? Any other place?
Yeah, on Instagram, summer. Yeah, just website, YouTube, all the same. My name, you'll see it.
Awesome. Look, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate all that you've had to share, and I trust the guys and girls listening have as well. Love you guys to click like, share it with people that you think need to hear it the most, and also tag your friends and to help Cynthia share her message around the place. Thank you so much for your time.
Beautiful. Thank you. Pleasure.